Okay, folks, here is an introduction I am genuinely proud to make, and I'll tell you why. Long before I got involved in being on talk shows or producing talk shows or whatever, I was managing a comedy team, and in 1967, out in Chicago at a place called the Happy Medium Theater, I had the pleasure of producing a comedy show with music and so forth that ran for about 9 months. At that period of time, I met two people who I was very impressed with. Their charm, their talent, their intelligence. One was a man named Jeff Wald, who was working for the man who operated the Happy Medium Theater. The other was his wife, Helen Reddy. This was back in 1967, and Jeff worked with us on helping to promote our show. Helen became the singer and the actress in this comedy show, the Patchett and Tarzan show. I think she was making $100 a week at that time. We split up in 1968. I moved back east. Helen Reddy and Jeff Wald moved to California. We've stayed in touch a little bit. I'm really proud to say that Helen Reddy is someone I can call a friend. I mean, when you've done a show with somebody for 9 months, night after night after night, you get to know them. I've seen her in her underwear. Here is a really lovely woman, 30 gold records and millions of dollars in the bank. 10 years later, here is my good friend, Helen Reddy. You know how
What's
happy I am
with
for
you? You look so tired.
That's New York. You know what it does to you. Have a seat, my dear.
Okay.
You know, it's interesting, I guess, to interview somebody who's friends and so forth. So we'll just strip away all the interview stuff and get that out of the way.
Okay.
You know how genuinely happy I am for you.
Well, I'm very happy for you, too, because it's wonderful to see you like this in this kind of a situation.
Yeah, we've never done, I interviewed you once in Tennessee on film in your hotel room. Before I ask you about you, I want to ask you something about me, honestly. Did you think when you knew me then in Chicago that I would end up doing something like this? What did you think I would do with my life?
I used to think, gee, that boy is so handsome. Why is he wasting his time behind the scenes when he should be out there on camera, you see?
I wanted to.
And you haven't aged a day, you dirty louse.
It's that healthy New York air. And let me tell you and you what I thought in those days.
Yeah.
I had said this to many people from 1968, 1969, 1970. You were not really going anywhere in your career. 1971, when your first big hit, I Don't Know How to Love Him, broke, I said to people, I know Helen Reddy is going to be a superstar. I could always tell by the look in your eyes that it was going to happen for you. And you knew it. You knew that you were going to make it, right?
Well, I felt I was destined to. I just never believed it would take so long.
Yeah, but how long was it? You came to New York and met Jeff when? In
66.
And when?
In fact, today is our wedding anniversary. It's 11 years.
Today?
Yeah.
Jeff, come here. All right, later. We'll bring Jeff out later. Well, you know, in reality, it didn't take that long. If you really look at it one way, right? It took, you came to the United States in 67 or 68.
66.
66.
Yeah.
And by 72, you were on your way.
But
6 years, Helen, it's not that bad.
But I figured, you've got to remember, it took me 8 years to get to America. I mean, 8 years of actively planning a way to get to the United States, and I thought once I got here, I mean, that was it. I thought that the hard part was going to be getting here. I didn't realize that once I got here, I was in the basement, so to speak, and I still had to make the trip upstairs.
Talk about being in the basement for a second. One time I saw you in Tennessee, and we were talking about the phenomenon of the I Am Woman record. You told me something I'd like you to repeat for people here. I don't know if you've said this much on shows or not, but it's worth repeating if you have. And that is the mood that you were in, the view of your life when you wrote the song I Am Woman, which is, you know, is a colossal hit of the decade or of the century, a big, big hit. Tell us about that.
Well, I wrote it, I guess, after a period of about a year or a year and a half when nothing in my life went right. I mean, nothing. I could not get a job, nothing, not even so much as one night anywhere for 9 months.
Plus, Jeff was
very
doing
demoralizing
well.
to the ego. It is very, if you haven't been out of work for a long period of time, you don't know how it eats away at your inside. So my ego was just way down there. And I decided to go back to school. And I spent about a year taking courses at UCLA.
What were you studying?
Just everything that had ever interested me.
What were you just kind of displacing frustration?
I wanted a short-term goal. I wanted to build up my ego, and I knew that I was going to have to do it all by myself, and I wanted a short short-term goal, something that I could say, well, yes, in 6 weeks, if I want to, I can achieve this. And I really wanted to have good grades. I wanted to see an A on my report card. I just wanted somebody to pat me on the head and say, good girl. And so that was a very important year to me. I really got a lot of my confidence back. And it was at that point that I started writing I Am Woman, because I realized that I'd come through a lot and I wanted to share that experience with others.
So it came out of a very, very low point.
Yes.
Right. Also, tell us a little bit about your parents, who were vaudeville performers. What were their special talents, like your mother? What was her strongest suit on stage, or is her strongest suit?
My parents are no longer living. See, it's not like here where everybody specializes. In Australia, if you want to work, you've got to be able to do everything. You have to sing and dance and act in comedy sketches. And the first show I was in, you know, when I left school when I was 15, the first show I was in, I would assist the juggler, I would assist the magic act, I would dance in the numbers with the girls, I would sing, I would act in the sketches. I was virtually never off stage. And my parents were like this. My mother was a wonderful singer, a wonderful actress, a great stage manager. My father was a producer, a writer, an actor. And
your parents actually tour around?
They toured for many years, and they were also very big in radio, when radio was very big.
Did they groom you to be a star? I mean, was there ever any question that you would be doing anything else with your life other than singing and performing?
Never.
Never?
Never.
Oh. It must be tremendously. Have you gone back to where you've grown up since you really hit big, like in the last 5 years, to the places, the streets, the house, anything like that?
Some of them.
How do you respond when you realize that what you set out to do when you were a little girl, Helen Reddy, there, you've accomplished?
But I never doubted it.
You never doubted it.
You have to believe. If you don't believe
absolutely, no.
If you don't believe it, it's never going to happen.
But it must be.
But it's strange. I can go back to Australia, and it's like I never left. It's really weird. It's like transporting myself back in time.
All right, let's take a pause. It's more intense than I thought it would be, talking to Helen. You know, I thought, old friend, but it's very special for me. To see someone you know go from one level to acquire all this wealth and power is, it gives me a great feeling. We'll come back. I want to talk about Pete's Dragon and also what you're doing with all your power now.
Okay.
Okay? Right after this.